the Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment. The following views are strictly the views of James Hebert and do not represent anybody that works with the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media or is a part of the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media.
Straight from JHebert Studios, James covers the good, the bad, and the ugly, and gives his perspective on things. Now here is your host, James Hebert.
In one weekend. Oh my goodness. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of the JHebert Side of Things. I'm of course your host and the mind that we are going to be delving into, JHebert. And I just got myself a drink after recording my pro wrestling video. So if you have not checked out that episode from yesterday, go check that out right here on the iCard. And then, you know, if you want to come back here. If you don't care about pro wrestling and you just want to watch me talk about the YouTube shit, go ahead and do it. Right? Do whatever you want. I don't know. So, ladies and gentlemen, there was a busy week in the YouTube drama sphere. Oh boy, let me tell you. There was some shit that happened. And somehow I got to discuss it with some of the biggest heads on YouTube in one of the cases. But before we even get into that, Daniel fucking Keem. Woo boy, where to start with you, good sir? Good sir. Yeah, my ass. Where to start with you? I'm glad I was right about you. I was proven right ultimately by just the way you handled this situation. I have my opinions that I know Tommy C doesn't necessarily agree with about Keem. Like, I think he had a lot to do with the Etika situation more than they want to admit. And I'm not saying Tommy had anything to do with it. I don't blame Tommy for that in the slightest. He's trying to look out for the best in people. Dude, I envy that. I don't hate the guy for it. I'm not going to begrudge him that. You know, I'm just not going to do that. That said, fuck me. Everything that I said about this guy over the last, 7 years now, I think, has all been true. I don't regret taking my baited podcast custom intro down as a result of it. Everything that I ever said about this fucking guy absolutely reigns true. It is unfucking believable how he has just completely lost his fucking mind on how to treat people. He does not know how to be a boss. He does not know how to be a good person. And he's a snake. He's showed his ass, and he showed that he has feints. I got nothing to say about it other than what I've already said. And I'm going to play what I've already said. For those who don't know, y'all know I talked about the Boogie stuff a couple podcasts ago at this point, right? Like, literally before the wrestling podcast that just happened. I had talked about the Boogie 2988 crypto cancer scams that happened on Local Live. That was exposed on Local Live. what a lot of people don't understand is the person who produced that stream that exposed Boogie for the piece of shit he really is was Tommy C. Tommy C produced that podcast, and that happened in July, right? This is a week before he was supposed to go on his vacation with his family that he always takes. It had already been established that was going to have that vacation time. He was not going to get docked pay. He was going to get the full amount, despite if he was there or not. That's how it's always been ran. That was even ran like that when Wings skipped out a couple episodes, from what I understand. Everybody got paid the same amount, including Boogie, even after the crypto scam, by the way. Just to reiterate, who should be docked paid and who shouldn't be. Anyway. So, Tommy C took this vacation, and then Keem does what Keem does. The minute the show got popular, which, by the way, the show got the biggest views. It is actually, like, top 10 biggest YouTube streams of all time. I don't think people understand that. It honestly might be the biggest YouTube stream of all time. And a lot of that is due to the absurdity of it. And that was done and ran behind the switchboard because of Tommy C. Because he knows how to produce streams. He knows how to produce radio formatted streamed shows because he's been doing it for years. Right? So he was put in charge. He was on the hot seat. He was on the buttons to pull that whole thing off. And then, because Boogie had lied on top of lying about cancer and on top of lying about the crypto scam, he had lied about Daniel Keem paying him for lockout. So, Keem's bright fucking idea was to have everybody in the show sign an NDA, which, by the way, isn't even legally binding because you can't stop people from talking about their financials, right? He wanted them to sign an NDA so he can, you know, and basically make it such a loose fucking NDA that he could basically get away with murder, you know, and do whatever the fuck he wanted to those guys, and dock however much he wanted to dock off their pay. Which Keem can now do with Boogie and Wings now, because Boogie and Wings stupidly and foolishly signed the NDA because one is mentally ill and the other one thinks that this is his only meal ticket. I mean, yeah, so Tommy, being the smartest person in the room, said, I'm not fucking signing no NDA. I don't need to sign an NDA. There's no need for me to sign an NDA. And Keem, being the fucking heretic that he is and being the douchebag that he is, kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. He would not stop pushing him until Keem just said, okay, I can't do this, I'm going to be done. And he tried to split amicably. He literally talked glowingly about all three people that were still left on the show, which was Keem, Boogie, Wings. He had the most kind words to say about Wings. I think he genuinely enjoyed working with the guy. And that was it. That was genuinely it. That was supposed to be it. Except when Keem was not going to fucking pay him for the month of July. He quit in August. Y'all see the problem here? He should be paid for that month. Well, Keem didn't think so because he thought that he had a power play and he couldn't get him to sign the NDA, so he thought he'd pull a power play by not paying him the money he was owed, despite him literally being on the buttons for the biggest fucking live stream in the YouTube drama sphere in over fucking 7 years. Possibly the biggest YouTube live stream of all time. Because of the absurdity of Boogie lying about cancer and using a crypto scam to fund his lie so he could live a luxurious lifestyle or whatever the fuck he has left of it. So the guy who ran that stream got fucked. The little guy who wasn't making as much as Keem and as Boogie and Wings even, he got fucked. He got fucked. Now, maybe, I think he is making more because of, he's actually, you know, a content creator and he didn't fucking turn himself into a locale. Shock, I know. But, you know, he still got fucked. He's a little guy compared to Keemstar who got fucked. And again, it just shows to me that Keem has this power dynamic over people. He had this power dynamic over FouseyTube. Regardless of how you feel about FouseyTube, and Lord knows plenty of people have had plenty to say about him. I know I don't have any love loss for the guy and what he did back in his past, but during the time where he had that mental breakdown when he tried to have that concert and he literally screamed at Keem, "You made me want to kill myself," that was the most stoic, stone-faced thing I've ever seen from Keem ever. And he turned it into content and had no remorse after the fact. Then the Etika situation, same thing. When he had his mother come out to his defense, and his mother, Etika's mother is not exactly a reliable narrator either, because she used to abuse him back then. I could be wrong on that, but that's what rumors has said. So that's, I'm just going to say allegedly there. But that's not fucking true either, you know? So, again, it's just to save face instead of taking any responsibility for a guy who was mentally ill that he let on his show to make an ass out of himself because he was out of his mind. And then he wants to pretend that that wasn't the case. I don't buy it. Nobody's going to buy that. And now here he is doing the same fucking thing with Boogie2988, another guy who is currently on a mental break, and insane. Regardless if he's doing half of it to fucking beg for attention, he's not right in the head. He's not right in the head. And he wanted control over everybody like he always does in every podcast position that he does because he wants this fucking stupid goddamn power play like he did with Nicholas DeORIO when he was in Drama Alert. I think he did it with a few other people that guest hosted Drama Alert. Which is why I stopped tuning out because of how he treated those guys, by the way. And it was just fucking absurd to me. Like, it's fucking absurd. This shit is out of control with Keem. And it's been out of control with Daniel Keem for a very long fucking time. It's been so damn bad. So bad with Keem. And I was proven right on every point I've ever made. When he would not pay Tommy C his rightful fucking money. Until everything would take place the way it took place. He did eventually get paid in the end. After everybody kicked and screamed for him to get fucking paid. This fucking goddamn tweet. Man. Oh, by the way, hold on one second. I just had to make sure that my volume was up for a later podcast. I always forget to fix the toggles on that. Keem. The only person I know who can withhold $6,000 from an employee and then claim to be the one who's scammed. The lol-cal behavior is on point. This is on Tommy C's chat. Somebody screen capped this bullshit, and this was Keem obviously tweeting. Tommy, sorry bud, you're not gonna scam me. Maybe you could scam these viewers into thinking you were a victim when you didn't even work. So nice one there, Keem. He then tweeted something else to Willie Mac Show, who actually tweeted this out. And then he had like a reply, and then I just replied with this. I'm glad I was always right about you, you pretentious cunt. Fuck you sideways. You are just as much of a locale as Boogie, and I will never watch anything you produce again. Fuck you, fuck Boogie, and fuck Wings even for even tolerating this bullshit. Yeah, like that's as much as I went on. I was more righteously indignant on Tommy's behalf than Tommy was on his own behalf. Even at his angriest, by the way. Because this guy got fucked out of $6,000 when he was responsible for streaming the biggest stream of all time. So yeah, that lays that down, right? And then we got this. This is me going on Tommy C. Shot from the Point. Subscribe, by the way, if you haven't already. I might actually only show bits of this screen-wise, but I'll play the audio so you actually understand how angry he was. And I'm going to show the screenshot here. I'm going to let this go over after he says his statement here.
Yeah. I'm going to apologize to local fans. I said I was open to it under the right circumstances. If he had come back to me and say, okay, no NBA, just go back to work. That wasn't the case. I did not scream about the locale. The two, when I did come back, I didn't say a fucking word. I wanted to see it said. I wanted to make sure it work out. I think this crossed the line, and now I can say I'm not coming back under any circumstances. Because I'll just happen again. And he'll dangle things about, what did he say when I went to send the NDA? Right, first thing out of his mouth. I guess it's been a good run then. It's a threat. Everything's a threat. Everything's intimidation. I'm too old for this shit. I'm not a kid, and I'm not broke.
So there you go. That's why I corrected myself, because he isn't broke. He's got, you just saw the donations. He's far from broke, right? Anyway, right here before I'm here speaking on the call, 2.2 million views for that podcast in the first 24 hours, I think. Watch time was that much. The subscriber count went up by that much. The estimated ad revenue on that particular video, or just on the channel, it might just be the channel in general, estimated revenue was $25,000, right? So that means, by that logic, everybody should be getting $6K. Because I think there's added factors onto it, because, they obviously don't have merch sales. They might have merch. I assume that means $6K in total. So he's owed $6,000 for that. So now that you know that, this is what I said after I heard all this bullshit. This is fresh off a hearing that he wasn't getting paid and he was getting fucked out of his money.
Listen, fuckhead.
No, it's just blatant manipulation tactics, and not to sound righteously indignant on your behalf, Tommy, but the only way you should ever want to come back to Baited and or Locale is if you own the entire fucking stock.
Yeah, I know.
Period.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
I'm gonna correct what I said here, because realizing that definitely should be the case for Locale. The only way he should ever accept going back there. And he's going to contradict me on that one. I'm gonna actually explain why he should take it if that opportunity ever presents itself. But he literally should be given full ownership of Locale and all assets, money-wise, going forward, and he should be the one running the ship. If Tommy runs that fucking podcast, that show has such a great chance of succeeding, right? Because then you're not going to get this fake bullshit drama that goes on for no reason. And you're not going to get fucking people that are... He's going to set people straight. He set Wings straight. He set Boogie straight more than once. He would be the one to run the Locale podcast because the whole idea is to hold these fucking idiots accountable for the bullshit they did. Tommy was the perfect straight man for that show, and he knows what needs to be done, and he knows how to run the show to just let it happen freely. You don't need to manufacture drama at that point. You give Tommy those keys, I guarantee we'll have a whole different conversation about Locale. So I maintain that about Locale. Baited, different story. Baited should be run by Clown. Colossal is excuse me, I'm becoming mushmouth here. Colossal is crazy should be the one running the finances on Baited. But even then, Tommy should be his business partner if nothing else, and Keem should be the fucking third wheel in all honesty. Dead serious. That's the only way I ever see Baited coming back, is if Clown is actually the one in charge. And knowing Keem being the control freak he is, and not wanting to admit that he can't run a podcast, and that he's a shitty human being, and he can't take any responsibility when anybody gives him any criticism about anything, that's wishful thinking at this point.
That's the only reason you should be coming back, is if you are promised full ownership of both podcasts at this
Here's
point.
another thing about going back. This podcast, rightly or wrongly, because I've never been a part of any kind of work or some kind of fake drama behind the scenes or anything like that. The only thing fake I did was the commercial that nobody liked that I did, that me and my son did, the Meta PCs commercial. That I don't think we got paid for because of what happened with his trolls. That's the only fake thing. If I go back, right at this point. Okay, buddy. Everybody thinks it's fake anyway. People think are watching this right now and think this whole thing's fucking scripted, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I ruined my own reputation, and I'd rather take what little scraps that I had from SFTP and move on.
Again, to my original point that I just stated in this podcast, I do think that would change if you were given full ownership, because that would not be a factor anymore, because you would run it how you would want to run it. But I understand the sentiment of he doesn't even think that's even a possibility at this point. So that's probably how he's looking at that. So I understand why he said that, the way he said it.
Yeah, honestly. And what's so screwed up to me is he is so wanting to do this fake drama crap. Like, this is all...
To the point where he'll NDA me. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, everybody saw... He thinks
so
that
dumb.
Nobody sees it besides, like, me. You guys aren't going to see this stuff. You've been complaining about it since we started. And the sad thing is, some of the stuff you guys complained about being fake was 100% real, so you kind of, like, spoiled yourself in a sense.
Nobody could tell the difference.
Nobody can tell the difference. So no one's going to tell... If I go back now, I've ruined my reputation for ever being taken seriously. I will do a bit. I will do a stunt. I will do a troll. But you're going to know about it afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll even make I'll make. People bitched about the clickbait thumbnails. I don't even give a shit about those. I don't care that that's a part of the YouTube game. I'm willing to do them, but I'm not willing to do something inorganic and tell you it is organic. I'm not willing to do that.
What is so hilarious is that out of all this, if it wasn't for Boogie lying about cancer, Keem would unironically be the biggest locale. I'm not even kidding. Like, you said it perfectly last stream, Tommy. Like, he doesn't know how to run a business outside of his own shit. He doesn't know how to do it. Every time he runs a podcast, this is exactly what goes down, because all he knows is how to do.
With the exception of Mom's Basement, but that's because the guy is way bigger than him and he can't do that power play bullshit continuing.
This intimidation.
And 8 years ago, you could say the newbie that nobody ever heard of was the one that fucked it up, and he was ingrateful and he was trying. But nobody believes that anymore. I've been around for 8 years now.
Nobody. Yeah. And it's so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's done this with big and small too. Like. Not to bring up sour grapes on my fucking end, but he did this when if you remember, you and Clown loved the baited intro I did, and he never ever got back to me on that shit. Okay, ever. Buddy. And it's like, what the fuck, dude?
I don't know.
Like, just give fucking credit. You absolutely should get credit, because regardless if you didn't work the full month of July, you absolutely should get paid that full month. You're responsible for the biggest fucking podcast of all time.
Yeah. I have never ever been told. I've never been docked a day's pay or told me I was going to lose a percentage of that day's pay or anything. I was told, don't worry about it, up until the point when they could find a place to pay. And that's all it is. It's trying to sell it to the crowd that I took a 10-day vacation, no more, no less. I came home late Monday night. I was ready to go, but I was going to record that conversation. And what has transpired since I said that, a lot of people had a problem with me wanting to record that conversation. Like I was doing it behind his back. I said, record it. You have a copy. I have a copy. We're clear. Because I knew he was going to tell everybody I quit. And I'm pretty sure, as the way things have transpired, he's definitely going to try to screw me in one way or another. And any negotiation, we're just trying to get the money down. The way I see it is the last time I took a screenshot. Why do you think I took a screenshot for just this scenario? It was $25K. That's about $6,300 that is owed to me.
Yeah, and what sucks about it too, Tommy, is you were so trying to take the high road on this, and it's like,
dude, that's what's so frustrating was the stream before this stream that Tommy did. Like, he was so gracious. He was giving credit to everybody, even to Boogie of all fucking people. Like, he was really grateful for the experience. He was literally like not burning bridges. And then he gets almost screwed out of his paycheck for July. On the month where they had the biggest stream that they have ever had in the history of the show existence. It's fucking ridiculous.
Like, Keem was trying everything to make it impossible.
Yeah, and he wants me to spurg out so everybody gets paid. And here's what I'll tell you. All I can tell is the locale fans, and locale fans have been really good to me. They were really rough on me at first, so I hit it head on. I went in the server, I talked to them, and I earned their respect. Right? And I get where they were coming from. And I told him, I kept all the fucking bullshit that he was doing that was giving people the impression it was fake drama. I was in that server telling people that's not the case. I took all those fucking bullets. Right? And I'm staking my reputation on it that it's not fake.
You were a part of the biggest. You were the reason the show was streamed.
Okay, buddy.
You absolutely should be getting compensated for that, without question.
Thank
I think
you,
everybody here is.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And that's everything. That was my part on Shot from the Point for that stream. You want to watch the whole stream, go check it out on, if you haven't even seen it already, I'll link it in the iCard here and in the description. It's really that simple. By the end of all this, after 3 hours and 7 minutes and 52 seconds of that stream happening, by the way, what was so absurd to me, after all that, right? He finally gets paid, and he doesn't even get paid the amount he thinks he's owed, which is $6,300. I think Mudahar came in later in the stream and said it was actually $6,500 that you're owed. But he was fine with sticking with the $6,300. I think because of expenses, and Keem did have a conversation with him after the fact, that it ended up being $6,000. So he paid him the money after all this bullshit. Okay? You do not fucking hold out people's pay. You just don't do it. I don't care if you're a big tech company. I don't care if you're one person. You don't hold out money against people because you think you're entitled. Like, people get sued for shit like that. And Tommy wasn't ever going to go for the fucking lawsuit. He wasn't ever going to do that. But just the fact that it had to come down to this is just completely unreasonable. What I will say is, I think he made that tweet, and that's great. And I still said, good, still fuck Daniel Keem. So I'm glad Tommy got his money. He absolutely deserved it, especially for, hosting the biggest show ever on that channel. He was owed his money. He got his money. I'm glad he got his money. I'm glad he's satisfied with the money he got. I maintain everything that I said. This shit sucks that he had to go through all this fucking drama just to get paid. And all it did was prove everything that I've ever said about Keemstar correct. And I don't take it back, and I don't apologize. And I took some personal attacks and digs at Keem, by the way. Just for the record. Like, I think he is not a good person, and I think he's a very bad role model to a lot of people who are impressionable, and I think it is indicative of who he is as a person. And it's gonna be a really lonely life when he's 60 years old as a result of that. And I don't take that back, and I don't apologize for it. Because this shit is fucking gross. You don't do this shit to people. You don't withhold money that they are owed. You don't pull power plays on people. You don't fucking use people who are mentally ill and use them for content. You don't do it. Now, some people might have a different opinion. I think Tommy had a better vision of how the show was supposed to go than fucking Keem did. Which is why I tuned in, and why a lot of people tuned in when Tommy came in, because Tommy had the right idea of what locale should have been. Which is, call these people off of the bullshit they did, make them get better, force them to get better, and hold them to a fucking standard that they were not held to before. The show concept by Keem is brilliant. I'll give him that. And even Tommy said it. He's a great idea guy. That was one of the best ideas Keem's ever had, and Tommy knew how to get there. Which is why people went to the podcast, because people trust Tommy's judgment and takes on his shit. Right? Like, it's easy enough. You know? And I didn't watch a lot of Locale, but the episodes I did watch, usually more often than not had Tommy saying something or some Tommy influence. I don't think I'm irresponsible in saying that. So, yeah, man, like, it's just unbelievable that he did all that work and then he got shit canned like that, and then almost didn't even get his paycheck that he was rightfully fucking owed. And yeah, it just proved everything I've ever said about Keem over the years right. I don't apologize for any of it, and I don't have to now. You know? It wouldn't be the first podcast I join up, but I didn't mind Tommy doing it. I get why you would do it. It's a huge opportunity. Why would you fucking diss that? Cool for him. It's not something I would do, but I get it. Cool for him. I really... That's the thing. Like, people think, well, you know, you hate Keem and you hate the fact that he was taking advantage of mentally ill people. Well, Tommy was doing it too. Yeah. But Tommy was also trying to get them to be better. And he was actually using a little bit of tough love. You know, it's this thing you learn in the fucking army. Just saying. I should know. Well, I don't know. I wasn't ever a veteran. My dad was, and he had the same shit. Like, you know, it's just... He knew what he was doing. He actually cared about those guys, believe it or not. There were that liar thing, like when Boogie got liar tattooed on his face, Tommy was like, dude, I really don't think you should go through with this. I think this is a bad fucking idea. It turns out he was correct, by the way. Because now everybody thinks that the whole drama is fake, which is probably why he was saying don't do it. This is not going to look good. It's going to make this shit worse. And Keem is pretending like it's going to make it better, but he knows the shit ain't going to be better, and he's just doing it for some content and for some cheap heat and some cheap numbers that he could cash out later and then try to withhold from you because you stupidly signed the NDA. So he knew all this shit was going down. Like... And even if you didn't hear it from Tommy himself, you could use your own fucking eyeballs with everything that was going on and see the direction it was going, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So, fuck Keem. I have nothing else to say about it. I've said everything that needs to be said. I just wanted to kind of elaborate on my points from Shot from the Point, and then discuss it here on the JHebert side of things. So, if you want to check out the full podcast and how that whole thing ended, if you have 3 hours to spare, go ahead and check it out. It's in the description or the iCard above. Next thing that happened was a bit more lighthearted, to an extent. I mean, still kind of sad, in all honesty, but your boy was on another Shot from the Point podcast involving NerdCity. NerdCity has just been going scorched earth on everybody and their fucking mother that knows him because they are bullying him online and not taking him seriously enough, apparently. So that's a thing. And because it was such a hot button issue on the Shot from the Point show, which was streamed 7 days ago, it was a week ago this happened. Colossal is Crazy showed up. One of his podcast hosts show up, not the one that's pyrocynical. Willie Mack's show showed up. Nicholas DeORIO showed up. And Tommy C was there. So I had by the time I come in to talk about this and discuss this shit about NerdCity, the entire YouTube community was in here. The commentary community was out in droves, brother. What in the fuck? I couldn't even believe it. I was like, okay, cool beans. So I'm having a conversation with Clown and Nicholas DeORIO, and I'm like, God damn, this is actually, like, really chill. Like, I can't believe this is happening to me. I don't know how I got this lucky. And, by the way, this is why I love Shot from the Point, because no other show would do this. No other show would do this. This is fucking sweet. But I'm going to elaborate more, just because, you know, that and clickbait. And, you know, what I said wasn't really clickbait, but it kind of was at the same time. It's great. So yeah, let's talk about this shit.
JHebert on the air with all of the YouTube commentary. Go ahead.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, I was about to say you got it going on over here.
Yeah, I guess so.
Tommy. Huh?
What's going on,
God
man?
damn.
Tell me. What's on your mind?
Dude, this guy. I gotta be honest with you, clown. He honestly sounds like he's off his head. I think Tommy might have a point there.
I'm saying it like a hype. Because people,
as I've said, like he's not mentally ill. Obviously,
No.
What people are saying have gotten to him. Yes, of course. Yeah.
You don't know how a person is going to react in their first real YouTube drama.
I love how Tommy goes as Clown says that. Are you sure? It like mouths it. I caught that motherfucker. I caught that shit.
Yeah.
You just don't know. You don't know. No. You never know. And this is his first real one.
But it's almost like he brought it on himself too.
He did.
Like that's what it sounds like to me. It's like just I don't know why he doesn't just.
He needs to stop interacting with these people, and he needs to pay it no mind and just not be offended and not take it to heart, and just move on.
Keep going, dude. It's
and
working.
laugh at these people.
That was Willie Mack, by the way. He said he should keep going, dude. His work. This fucking guy, bro. He's scorched earth himself, but in a different way. I love it.
What I've recommended for the last several months.
The problem is, not everyone can do that.
Yep.
No.
Exactly, Nick. Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Herbert?
He's my friend. I wish he could.
I do.
For the betterment of the podcast, for the betterment of the friendship, because obviously there is like.
Yeah, I know. You guys love it.
So I hope he does. If he does or he doesn't, I don't know. As far as the podcast goes, I don't think it can work in this way because he's just going to keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think he needs a break from the internet.
You say he's not mentally ill, and then you say he's going to keep doing what he can't do, and he can't help it and stop. That's like the definition of mental illness.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's doing the same thing over and over again.
And expect that literally is it. And that's why I'm legitimately, like, I know, look, when people say get help, it's usually, like, insincere, and it's really an ad hominem in a way. I'm, like, wondering.
Yeah, by the way, Tommy, I'm defending Tommy on that one. Like, he genuinely is worried about this guy. He was worried about Boogie and Wings as well when they were going off the deep end in a lot of cases. He did the same thing for them. He had the same kind of reaction. So, yeah, I stand by what Tommy said here. Like, he was legitimate when he asked that question. Like, that wasn't just him saying it out of bad faith. Like, you need help, right? No, he genuinely meant, do you need help? Like, are you okay? It's a legitimate question in this case.
Like,
well, that's what I'm thinking, Tommy, because, like, it's just... It really is as simple as, like, you can have a mental lapse sometimes. Like,
and then again, in fairness,
you can have all your shit together, and then
but
some
in
days
fairness,
you have a bad day.
He's been showing signs of this for years, right? And in fairness, Clown can't say my fucking podcast host is mentally ill. That's a fucking mean thing to say, even if it's true.
He banned people over cats.
He would.
If I thought it were true, I just
Really? I think it might be.
He called Pyro pedo-cynical. I think he'd say his co-host is mentally ill.
Unreal.
Yeah. No, dude, like, he bans people over cat. Like, he really hates cats. I remember that was, like, one of the first things Tommy covered is he's banning people over
that was
cat shit.
the context to that. People were spamming cats, and he didn't like the spam, and he wanted, like, a proper conversation, which was ridiculous. Yeah.
Exactly, that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. You know what's ridiculous? Banning people over spamming cat pictures.
Ridiculous. So
he's the only person that I ever, by the way, like, I genuinely mean this. Like, I talked over Clown a little bit when I heard that, because it is ridiculous. When you're looking from an untrained eye, if you didn't know that context, it looks like the guy is literally banning people over spamming cat pictures. Like, Jesus Christ, NerdCity. Like, get a fucking grip. Like, you aren't going to be able to control everybody on the internet, especially on a Discord, where half of the people come from Pyrocynical, which are the biggest fucking shit starters of the century. Like, get a grip, dude.
he left the podcast for a while. He came back. I think it was Conniving who came in and gave this law. They came back and then started banning people, and we gave them free reign to do that. We said, let's try it your way, ban the people that you don't like, and
Made it worse. Made it
Yeah,
worse.
exactly. Yeah.
The better the Discord.
And you told them they'd go to Reddit, and they did.
Which is the whole reason this NerdCity podcast began, by the way, is because they did go to Reddit and they did bully him for being a control freak.
But I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think you can censorship. I don't think you can censor people for just about anything and ban the people.
I don't think you can talk about censoring everybody in your Discord and piss and moan about censorship on the internet. There's another problem.
He just created about 25 me's from 2018, basically, that are going to follow him around for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Like, you got to tell him, one of the things you got to tell him is some of this is permanent and it's not going away. Some of this is absolutely permanent. Look, I'm a locale fucking expert. Right? Some of this is permanent, and he's going to have to deal with that. If he can't deal with that, then that's it. This is permanent, and it's not going away, and we're not going to run our lives about your feelings. You know? All right. Thanks for the call, Herbert.
And that was it there. Yeah, man. I think I did pretty well. I had a comment in here after the fact. What is my life? I was talking to Tommy C, Colossal is crazy, Nick DeORIO, Willie Mac over NerdCity losing his mind. Shot from the point literally gives a voice to the people. You gotta love it. This was such a cool thing for me. That was so fucking cool. I also corrected Tommy. I'm like, also Tommy, it's Hebert. I ain't angry about it though. LOL, everyone makes that mistake throughout my life. Literally my entire life, people have like mispronounced my name and called me Herbert. I don't know what it is. I don't know why people. It just is what it is. Like I'm like whatever about it. But hey. I don't hold a grudge. People call me Herbert. As long as you're not calling me Sherbert or fucking Herbert from Family Guy, I don't give a shit, right? Cool for you. I don't give a fuck. But, yeah, man. This NerdCity situation is, like, crazy because he has legitimately gone scorched earth. He was, like, doing some crazy transphobia shit or what looked like transphobia. I think this is one of those things where he was on the red pill spear of Twitter for way too long because he was so out of control that he felt like he just had no control, so he went to something where he thought he would have control, so then he started saying some legitimately shitty things about trans people, and I don't know, like, the full context, or don't remember the full context, but it was just unbelievable. Like, he just went scorched earth on everybody. People caught wind of it. And then you saw the screenshot here, and I'll show it here real quick. In the Discord, Uncle Ben, you better not be calling me a coward, to be honest. And NerdCity then said, you don't moderate your hellskip of a Discord and have no idea what people say on it. So that's negligent at least. Brother. By the way, for those who don't know, Uncle Ben is Colossal. Colossal is crazy. Motherfucker, he doesn't run the Discord like a fucking dictatorship. That's the biggest difference between you and him, buddy. He doesn't run his Discord like that. He lets it go free willy. Not Willie Mac, by the way. People just do whatever within, reason, right? He doesn't fucking go crazy with it. He allows people to express themselves how they want to express themselves and, let it go. He has literally told NerdCity over and over again the shit that bothers him. Don't focus on this fucking pyrocynical fan base. Because the minute you do, you're not going to win, and it's just going to drive you mad. And that's exactly what's happened. He has been driven insane by this shit. And it's fucking crazy. And I think he's been showing signs of it for years, like Tommy said. Even during his videos, like his well-edited videos, he was showing signs of it there. So, this isn't a new thing with Nerd. So, that's pretty much my thoughts on that. Again, if you want to check out that whole podcast with the TBH Discord leaks, NerdCity Quits podcast, go ahead and check that down below. It is something, man. Like, everybody got a chance to talk with some of the biggest commentators on the YouTube space. And I happen to be one of them. And, not to toot my own horn, but I think I did a pretty good job. I think I did a pretty good job there. Yeah. If you guys want a podcast host, hey, you know what? Fuck it. Here's my official application. Hey, if fucking NerdCity doesn't want to be the autistic fuck to get fucking locale, put me in that fucking hot seat, motherfucker. I'll fucking take that shit. Give me the money. I'll fucking run with that train. You kidding me? God damn. I literally have a fucking shirt on Teespring that's supposed to be soon, or it might not ever come out now, but I literally did a mock shirt of I was on the short yellow bus as a kid, which is true, by the way. You put me on there. I'll fucking take that shit. You kidding me? I'll fucking laugh at half of it. Not fucking 3/4 of it. Jesus Christ. There's my application. Take it or leave it. I'm sure most people will leave it. It's fine. Like, to be honest, with TBH, they took a lot of drama things, but hey, money's good. Money's ours, right? So there you go there. And that was the NerdCity stuff. The main event is a Smash community story. This is a bit sad. I almost wish I had done the last shot from the point story last, because we're gonna get a bit depressing here. For those who do not know who Hax is one of the top Melee players in the world. He had gotten into some controversy with some fucking other douchebag. I forget his name. I think his name is Leffen. It might be Leffen. I think that's his name. And he had tweeted out multiple times to please get unbanned from the Smash database so he could play Melee again professionally. And by the way, I'm on his side. I'm on the freehax movement. However, to a point. Not against anything Hax did, by the way. But genuinely because I'm worried about what this is doing for his mental health. I'll get to that in a minute. But here is the tweets. This is from his notepad. Seeking forgiveness. I hope this post can reach New York City Melee as well as the scene's tournament organizers. I originally wanted to record a video, but I hardly have the energy to focus to do anything these days, given how bad things are. I have no choice but to plead for my permanent ban ruling to be reduced. My situation is incredibly dire to the point that I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. To put things in perspective, I choose not to go to college so that I could pursue a future within the Melee community. I was supposed to make a living here and start a family here. 99% of the people I know come from here. Nowadays, I have nothing. I have no degree, and I've been fully disconnected from my social circle for the past 19 years. I lost everything I've ever worked for. The entire situation just isn't right. The extent to which I'm being penalized should be reserved for actual criminals, in my opinion. I just can't understand people's vindictiveness towards me. The worst thing about all of this is that I'm being deprived of opportunities to prove myself in real life. I've always gone above and beyond when it comes to displaying good behavior at events and being of help to other Melee players. If people were more willing to forgive me and reintegrate me, I promise that we'd make it past this. My recent write-up explains how things managed to reach this point. I had served nearly 3 years worth of time despite an initial promise of 2 years. I was being ignored by certain people behind the scenes, and so I resorted to public appeals. This triggered a permanent ban. This punishment simply does not fit the crime, in my opinion. Which, by the way, I agree. Like, his punishment didn't deserve that lengthy of a ban to begin with. Now, granted, he did kind of come at Leffen very hostile. looking at the reasons why, there was a YouTuber named Technicals who did a whole breakdown of this entire situation. If you want to go onto his channel, look up Technicals Hacks. There should be a bunch of videos on his channel that pop up there. He shouldn't be as banned. Like, if he, and by the way, this is very similar to what in the IWC that happened, specifically in AEW, where Punk should have been fired after the all-out media scrum, and the Elite should have been fired, just to show that this shit cannot happen anymore, and then have them work together after the fact. There should have been some leadership there. This is very similar to that situation, where fucking Hacks, and Leffen had their beef, and what the tournament organizers should have done after Hacks had his mental lapse in judgment when he made that video initially, sit the two in a room, get everything out there, tell them you're gonna stay separated, we're not gonna put you in the same tournaments, but you're not gonna fucking cause bullshit either, and you're gonna keep the other's name out of your mouth except for tournaments. If you guys happen to reach the finals, we can't control that, but you guys are controlling yourselves, or we're banning you from there. That should have been how it went. That full stop. That's how it should have gone. And I guarantee you, either both of them would have been on their best behavior, or one of them would have gotten kicked them, or one of them would have booted themselves out because the fucking tournament organizers would have been like, fuck off. And by the way, it probably would have been Leffen and not Hacks, if they actually ran it fairly, but they don't. The punishment simply does not fit the crime, in my opinion. A second suspension was warranted here, but not a permanent one. My mistakes were made possible in my error by the errors in my judicial proceedings, which is something that has yet to be formally acknowledged. And this is directly at the TOs, the Smosh TOs. Fuck off if that's the case. That's absurdly egregious if that's how you fucking handled that. Fuck off. Furthermore, I believe the pros of keeping me around greatly outweigh the cons. I've always been a positive force outside of this feud with Leffen, and I plan to continue that trend. For these reasons, I plead for the scene's leadership to overturn this verdict and to parole me into... I have never seen that word before in my life. I'm sorry. And to let me, I'm just going to fucking paraphrase, and to let me back into events such as Nightclub once again. I swear that I will never discuss or acknowledge the controversy which got me banned ever again, and that I'll strictly be of benefit to this community. While I made mistakes, I didn't deserve to lose everything like this. I am seeking people's forgiveness in this time of need. Hacks. Before I get to my tweet, and this is genuinely something I have to say here. I never, in my wildest dreams, unless somebody can correct me, but I don't remember any other fighting game tournament fucking organizers running their events this fucking goddamn tyrannically. Not once have I heard that. I don't hear this with the Street Fighter community much. I don't hear this with the fucking Marvel vs. Capcom community. I don't hear this with the Tekken community. And these are events that usually, more often than not, would feature low-tier God. And call me crazy, I remember, one of the biggest feuds was when low-tier God shit-talked another person who was completely way above his league and got people to actually tune in. I'm just saying. I'm not saying low-tier God's a fucking saint, by the way, but why would you stagnate your fucking viewership? Why would you do that? Not that... If this is a legitimate thing, which it does... If this is a legitimate beef between Leffen and Hacks. But if that's the case... Say they were in the same tournament bracket. Why would you ban people for fucking talking about other creators? I never understood that. I'm never going to understand that. That's absurd to me. Because there are chances are, if they end up in the semifinals or the quarterfinals or even the finals, you have a lot of money that you're leaving on the table when you do shit like this. I don't understand how you don't just sit these fuckers in a room and tell them, look, you guys have your issues with each other. That's fine. We'll play it up on camera if you happen to be on finals, but you still better be on your best behavior. You still better show sportsmanship by the end of it. And we're not going to fucking have this discussion after the fact. If you have another video and you fucking disparage the other one and just personally attack them like Hacks did in your mental lapse, you need to fucking go. And if you bully him as much as you did to get him to that fucking mental lapse, then you need to go also. That's how you handle that situation. How hard is that? Like, who the fuck runs this goddamn club in Melee? Who the fuck runs the Smash community? Fucking kindergartners? Are you fucking serious? This is how you're running your fucking events? You're fucking just issuing out permabans because someone appeals their suspension and actually writes a fucking lengthy, proper fucking response for an appeal and is very just calm about it? This is how you're running your shit. You have to be out of your mind. This is why I will never take Smash seriously in a fighting game sense ever. I'll never take it seriously. I'm never going to take it seriously in the FGC. I'm never, ever going to look at it seriously. And it's a goddamn shame because there's plenty of people that are very good, but then you have shit like this going on with Hacks. You have fucking morons who still continue to fucking pull off bullshit like Leffen still running amok in the community. You got people like fucking Nairo who legitimately sexually assaulted a 15-year-old minor who was 20 years old at the time. He's still part of the fucking community because they don't want to ban him, even though they have every justifiable reason to do so. And then you have fucking people like Jisoo who fucking lied about other people for the crimes that didn't commit. This community is in shambles, and not a single TO has the fucking minerals or the balls to do a fucking thing about it. And meanwhile, people like this who are actually seeking forgiveness and actually did the right things have to be left like this and have to be on their last legs begging for forgiveness for a community that has ostracized them because it's all they've ever known, because they did not think that this was going to happen. Now, part of this is on Hacks. He should have had a plan B. But this is still fucked up, even in spite of that. I took the time to tweet, and I genuinely hope Hacks sees this video. I don't know if he'll ever reach out to him, but I really do hope so. I'm going to try and clip this and actually send it to him. I wrote on Twitter, in response to this entire thread, this entire 3-page note thing that he wrote. Brother, I hate to say this, but I'd move on. They don't deserve you. You are deserving of much better. Seriously, DM me. You don't deserve this shit. I'll help you find a way to get into college. This ain't it, Chief. Fuck the Melee community. They can rot. I literally had only one like on that tweet. I wish it had a lot more. I wish the engagement was shown here a lot more than just 114 views and one like. I really do. That might be the only reason that actually get me to fucking, you know, to get fucking X premium or whatever the fuck it is, just so that way I can actually get my interactions shown because I'm a verified account or whatever. I wrote after I saw this entire free hacks thing, I said, fuck the Melee TOs. It shouldn't be free hacks, but it should be you deserve better hacks. If anything, you shouldn't be begging for forgiveness. You should be begging for apologies. I tagged him in it, and I said, Hacks, I know you want this life back, but with the way it is, I genuinely don't think it's worth it. Johnny Books, I guess, replied to my thing in the 22nd. I didn't even see this reply until now, so there you go. I finally liked your tweet. Sorry about that, buddy. 100%, dude. These melee TOs are fucking pussies and are too afraid to apologize for wrongful bans. And not only are they pussies for that, man, like, not even just that, Johnny. Like, that's even far from the issues here. Genuine problems here are just like, what in the fuck are we doing? Like, you should be running your thing way better than you're running it. Like, let's not even pretend otherwise, dude. Like, you got to run your shit better. And they're not running their shit better. At all. This should have been as easy as, okay, let's sit you two down in the room and talk. Fuck off. Stop talking about each other so personally. If you guys, we're gonna put you guys in the same tournament. We're gonna try to make money off this. We're gonna mention the fucking rough history with you guys. If you happen to be in the finals or the semifinals or whatever, you know, you're gonna have your fight. You're gonna have your fight in the thing, and then we're gonna try to make some money off that. But please be respectful, have sportsmanship, and stop mentioning the other person going forward, or there will be a permanent ban. That's what should have been done. It should have been sitting these guys in a room and just handling it that way. Like fucking men, like adults. And it sounds to me, despite his initial lapse that Hacks had, when he had, I think he had, I don't know if it was a schizophrenic episode that he said, or it was a mental issue, whatever it was. Despite that initial thing, the only adult in this entire situation was Hacks. The TOs weren't being adults. They were being pussies. They weren't managing their shit right. Leffen sure as hell wasn't being the adult. So therefore, this shit sucks. So fuck the Melee community, as if I don't need another reason to not join competitive Smash at this point. So, yeah. Fuck Melee. Fuck the Melee community. Fuck the Smash community, because the Smash community is full of fucking toxins that need to be cut. I swear to God, man, there's like at least 4 different kinds of cancer in that fucking thing, man. Man, if I'm Nintendo, I like, a lot of people are gonna be like, well, you know, you shouldn't wish this, like, Nintendo. I remember I said that to somebody once. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo just completely shit cans fucking Smash tournaments because of the bad press it gives the game. And people's like, you shouldn't wish that. I'm like, well, then fucking manage your shit better! Manage your shit better! It shouldn't be that hard! I'm not saying I wish that. I never said I wish that, but fuck me. Like, if you don't want it to happen, maybe take a little better care of your tournaments, organizers. Maybe maybe treat your talent and your fighting game people better. Maybe handle your shit like a fucking company. Just a thought. None of these guys have a communication degree. None of these guys have a fucking... none of these guys have the minerals to communicate. Anytime there's any controversy, they fucking run away, and if there's any controversy, permaban. Hit the permaban button. Permaban, permaban, permaban. Like, you're running away from the problem. That's why I ask, is this shit being run by kindergartens? Like, it's not even high school. Like, we're just running shit like it's kindergarten at this point. So, yeah, man, like... moral of the story, like, of this podcast, I guess, is... treat people how you want to be treated. Don't take advantage of the mentally ill. And stop being a bullying asshole like Leffen and Keem. And don't be a control freak like NerdCity. Either. or the Smash TOs. So there you go. I think that was a pretty good podcast. Good clickbait thumbnail. Good part to end it off on. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that like button. Leave a comment down below if you like this episode, if you actually like the shit that I had to say about this topic. Whether it's in the live chat if you watch this on Premiere, or down below in the comments section. Anything of that nature helps the algorithm, and make sure you share it with your friends, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Maybe it will actually tell people to stop, being fucking ridiculous on social media and, actually act like proper adults. That's just neither here nor there. But yeah, share this with everybody that you can, and just be on the lookout for more content, man. If you are watching this on a Sunday morning, literally in hours, I will be live with Noah Foster and JJ Williams and others for a watch-along of AEW All in London, the penultimate event before they go to Texas next year. So be on the lookout for that. That will be right here when the ends card comes up. If you want to check out the hockey documentary, Garry Hebert, the man, the myth, the legend, 1 in a Million, Part 1, that's going to be here. I hope to God this time, because I have everything else done. So be on the lookout for that. Here's the trailer in the meantime. That's the end card. And until next time, we will see you on the JHebert Side. Peace out, everybody.